of some fake news.
Yes.
He's beating up the FBI. See, when Louis Farrakhan said what he said, they were hooping and cheering him on. If I said the same thing that Louis Farrakhan said, they'd be trying to make excuses for why I'm right.
Everything lines up. Let's check it out.
So I want y'all to listen to the clip of Louis Farrakhan wrote a clip.
The nature of this administration is good for us. Because of Trump's way, he is an anomaly. There's never been no president quite like Mr. Trump. There's something that he's doing. Trump is destroying every enemy that was an enemy of our rise. Who's the enemy of our rise? Is it the Department of Justice, where we get none? Is it Congress, where you make a law that favors us and then you turn around and destroy it? Is it the media that has destroyed every black leader that stood up for us? Martin Luther King suffered it. Malcolm suffered it. He's attacking the media, calls it fake news. We have been the victims of some fake news.
Yes.
He's beating up the FBI. Go at it, baby.
Yeah.
They've been beating the hell out of us.
So let me say this. The clip kind of cut short a little bit, but let me put this in perspective. Why did I pick the clip of Louis Farrakhan talking about Trump? Because I think that he said some things that was accurate, right? Donald Trump is bucking against the system. Donald Trump is doing things that benefit the black community. Now, I don't agree with everything he said in that clip because he act like the country is against black people and all this other stuff while he live in a crazy mansion somewhere getting rich and sending all his kids and friends' kids to private school potentially. But he did say something that I think black people should start recognizing. Go back and look at what Donald Trump did while he was in office. And this clip was while Donald Trump was in office. Go back and look at what Donald Trump did while he was in office. Go back and look at the things that you believe will benefit your community. Lower taxes, border security. I mean, you go down and name it. You name it, he did it. Urban revitalization. The First Step Act, which some people disagree with me on the First Step Act. I looked through the entire act. I thought it was a really good piece of legislation or a policy that I think was great. Me and Candace Owens lobbied for the First Step Act on Capitol Hill. I read it all. And most Congress people didn't even read it. Some people were like, they're going to let rapists out. No, it wasn't, because that's not in the clause. It has to be a nonviolent crime. But anyway, we can go down the list. But Donald Trump has done a lot of incredible things. Why don't people get it? See, when Louis Farrakhan said what he said, they were hooping and cheering him on. If I said the same thing that Louis Farrakhan said, they'd be talking crazy about me, talking about I'm trying to make excuses for why I'm right. And I just like when I hear people who are in the community actually get up and tell the truth. But I have to say this again. I don't really like Louis Farrakhan. I think he's a race baiter. I think he's a racist. And it's sad that these people spend their whole life career making the world out to be an anti-black scenario. I just want to say this for the record. White folks ain't worried about you no more. Maybe 100 years ago, white people were worried about black people. White people ain't worried about black people. The system ain't just concocted just to hurt black people. Because, see, when it was only white people and black people that were the biggest majority, then, yeah, you could say maybe the Congress was set up for this and set up for that. Now we got other minority examples of them doing well in America. Asians doing well. Africans doing well. Not African Americans. There's African Americans that do well, but I'm saying when you look at the numbers of Africans that come here to America, they generally do better than African Americans. We got Mexicans come over here doing better than y'all. So when you look at the spectrum of what's going on, the country isn't against you. You're against you. You the ones got dirt all over, you got trash all over your community. You the one spray paint and graffiti and stuff. You the one gang banging on your street, shooting your brother and sister. You doing that. Little Johnny down the street selling y'all drugs, not the white man. Little Tyrone in there pumping and sweating and not taking care of his responsibilities. What do they have to do with the white man? Y'all the one worried about black men marrying white women. White people ain't worried about y'all. Y'all the one stressed out over that. Y'all the one bashing your own men. Y'all the one want to be strong and independent, and I'm just a lot to handle for a man. And then you single and sad, and you blaming the white man. Y'all the ones mess up opportunities. That's not, when I grew up, there was not a white person in sight unless it was a cop or a person working in the school system. And you look around and say, well, why is all the devastation? It's because you're a part of that. You don't value your own community. You don't value relationships. You don't value raising your children right. You still believe in antiquated practices of beating your kids for no reason. You're the one that are doing that. You're the one bought into the system. You're the one still voting for Democrats. You don't want to see your kids in school in a failing school where you can homeschool your children. You're the one voting for policies that's detrimental to your community. Policies that leave in open borders. So black people that's barely making it, not all black people, the ones who struggling, now they got the Mexicans coming over here and being in front of you. They in front of line before you can get, you finna go broke. Barely putting food on the table. Wages ain't going up, but that inflation going up. Oh, they come right over here and get 100% coverage medical insurance. They go work on the job, fake a workman's comp issue, change their whole identity. They ain't got no social security number. They change their identity 4-5 times, get workman comp for 3-4 jobs. And you still vote for the man and think that makes sense. Don't blame nobody else. Louis Farrakhan, thank you for saying that.
Now, the only reason why I didn't stop that clip while I was playing it is because I also stand in that. I believe that we need to hold our own accountable. Black people, here's the thing. We need to stop separating people by race. At one point, it was necessary. I'm not going to fake like we've never been in a point where it seemed like it was black on white, black against white, white against black, because of the people that was in power seem to have been setting some things up against African Americans. So there came some people who was leading the charge and trying to make sure that black people's voices were heard and that they received the fair treatment that our Constitution said that we were supposed to receive. But after a certain point, guys, here's the thing. After a certain point, when we start to, make our way in society and get our jobs and be left alone for the color of our skin, and we're not bothered just for that, and we start tearing up our own communities, and we start destroying communities by selling drugs and killing one another, and thieving and breaking into people's houses and stealing cars and all of the other things. I'm not even going to go down the line. That's not even important. But what is important is that we realize where we are today. Okay, one person's level of success does not necessarily say how the country is toward a certain group of individuals. It don't. I'm being realistic. It does not. But one thing is true. Money is what it's all about nowadays. If you ain't got it, then you are a part of the minority. You're not, and the minority is not a color anymore. Minority is about the people who don't have power, who don't have resources, finances, education, and all those things that are important for moving up to the next level. And if you don't have those things, you will be left behind. And if you're left with that antiquated way of thinking, then you will be left behind. And you will be holding other people back as well. And people like Louis Farrakhan at one point, and probably even still today, I say probably even today, because I don't listen to Louis Farrakhan. I don't. I don't know what his teachings are or any of that. But I do know that I've heard him say before that the black man was being held under the thumb of the white man, and how unfair this country is, and all those other things. And at this point, that's just mumble. That's just like mumble rap, what we're hearing right now on the radio.